We are going through lesson 7, which is the argument essay. I have started recording, so just want to let you guys know that if everybody doesn't have their camera on, which is fine. Just want to let you know that if you do turn your camera on, this will be recorded, so be aware of that. Feel free to unmute or write in the chat if you have a question, and we'll get going. If you notice in the background, I have a Happy Halloween. We're 2 weeks out, but I'm going to start putting some stuff up virtually, whether it's video backgrounds or, I've been wearing some Halloween shirts to kind of get in the spirit. So it's a small little thing, but it counts. I'm going to share PowerPoint, hopefully. And again, I apologize if you can hear. You're gonna, probably just heard the car horn. There's a lot of background noise, as I've mentioned many times in the last few weeks. Yeah, it's wonderful. So, so again, today we're going to talk about organizing your argument essay. This has all dropped on your assignment page. This is the PowerPoint. It's a very large PowerPoint. There's about 30 different slides, but don't freak out because, again, they are a lot about background information, tips and tricks on what we're doing, and just sort of a scheduling, pacing things out. All right, and my L's, we're going to try and set up another meeting with you guys, with Mr. Weiss, so we can be a little bit more intensive with this, and try and throw a few more models for you guys, a few different more specific examples of what we want to do. But this is generally can apply to everybody, basically, on what we're doing and how we write an argument essay. So this week begins the argument essay week, and I've provided a little bit of a pacing chart for you guys, or just an overall schedule. The argument essay is technically due Monday, October 19th, 2020. Again, though, all assignments have been extended to Thursday, October 23rd, which is the last day of the first marking period. So I'd like you guys to aim for a Monday completion, especially if you have already done all the assignments and you're on pace to get going on the essay. There's no reason to delay that. And also, like I mentioned off camera, off recording, I need some time to go through all the materials and, grade through all the essays that we'll be getting. So, but the marking period's over October 23rd. We're in that pocket now where we're coming up on it. So Monday, October 19th at 11:59 p.m. is the technical due date. Late turn-ins will be allowed until October 23. So what should we be doing this week is, especially today, you're going to open up the assignment, and I want you to look through this PowerPoint. Those of you who are attending the live meeting, you're doing that right now with me. I have it propped up on the video. You should be able to see it. And we'll review, read 20 articles. They're not really read 20 articles, but just the articles from the last 2 or 3 weeks. Read 20 is something that we're not really doing exactly the way we did it when we were in person. If you were here last year, what the Read 20 is about if you were in person. But we've had 4 articles here about protests. We wanted to just briefly go through them and remember what they're about. Each of them takes a position on kinds of protests, peaceful protests, and then violent protests. What are the benefits and disadvantages of each? And, you're taking a position, you're deciding the question, are peaceful protests necessary for change? So you're going to decide which position you will argue. You're going to say, yes, peaceful protests are necessary for change. Here's why, because, whatever, but, or so. Or you can say, no, peaceful protests are not necessary for change. Something else, and here's why. Something else may be a factor for change, and argue that. Remember, for an argument essay style assignment, we give you 4 articles, and you decide 3 of the 4 to use. You can use all 4 if you feel you can get information, but the minimum is 3 of the 4. So today we'll decide what position we'll argue, and today we'll decide which of the 3 articles you will use for your essay. I'm also going to show you the meal chart. Meal is just an acronym or a shortened way of using a way of explaining or taking notes on an article, and you'll see that in a little bit. And we'll take notes for the essay. So that's today what you should be planning to do. From Wednesday to Friday, again, at your own pace, based on your schedule, based on what you have to do, you want to begin to write your argument essay, making sure it is you're building a 5-paragraph essay, introduction, body paragraphs, alternate or opposing claim with rebuttal, conclusion, and you're using 3 of the 4 articles to prove the claim. You also want to spell check and grammar check your work. Obviously, I think that's really important. I think sometimes it goes overlooked for some, that those are options that are available to you inside the Word document that, when you have the red or green squiggly lines, you can right click on that and get suggestions. Obviously, you want to check with the context of the sentence, but fixing sentences before you turn it in can help really improve an essay, even, just that much more before you show it to us. And then you're going to have to remember that you don't want to click turn in just yet during this week. You only want to click turn in on the assignment, which gives everything to us, if you're ready to hand it in. Otherwise, the documents all automatically save for you. When you close it, it'll save your progress. But when you press the turn in button, then it's a little bit more difficult to undo that. And remember, then the weekend you'll be working on the just finishing touches. And idealistically, I'm not sure realistically, but idealistically, you want to hand this in by Monday, October 19th. All right, so just going to stop here for a second. Are there any questions so far? Individually, when you're pacing the assignment, maybe paragraph by paragraph, just building things up. Maybe you want to do 2 paragraphs tomorrow, 2 paragraphs Thursday, 1 on Friday. Maybe you want to write the entire essay and then go back and, edit it. Everybody has their own writing strategy. When I write anything, usually I just kind of do free form writing, where it's like I get all my ideas out. The sentences don't look the prettiest or the most completed, but then I'll go back and I'll fix it up technically, which is where my spell check and grammar check option feels so important. Okay, any questions? All right, so remember, an argument involves the process of establishing a claim and then proving it with the use of reasoning, examples, and research. You want to. Oh, okay. Brian, is that you? Do you have a question, brother? Okay, so I'm going to mute you then, brother. All right. Oh, is your hand up? Your hand is up. Let me unmute. I don't know what the hell I did there. All right, Ryan, I'm sorry, brother, but if you have a question, just write it in the chat and I'll try and answer it as much as possible. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. All right, so argument and claim, these are the things that we've been building for the last couple weeks, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it right now, but this is just a summation of that. And again, this is the chart we've been using of what a claim is and what a claim is not. And when I've been looking at your work so far, I've been seeing most people are doing a great job of adding the because, but, And so that little extra point to the claims that makes it precise and thoughtful. Precise and thoughtful claims, effective claims, they answer the questions with clear and thoughtful reasons. And those are the things you're going to follow up on when you write your essay, is like, that's where it all comes from. So having, I hate to use an awful metaphor here or comparison, but it's sort of like, the breakfast is the most important meal of your day, right? You want to get started with, and some of us don't eat breakfast. I sometimes eat, but I don't, and I should. It's very important to get a good start. And so one of the ways we do that is with an argument, claim, and evidence sentence. And so we did this last week in one of our in assignment 5 and 6, building those claim extenders using because, but, or so to help extend the sentences. And when you do that, you're setting yourself up to have a more precise, thoughtful example or claim that you're going to follow up on. All right, so this is what you'll see when you open up the assignment. You'll see this as the prompt. This is our basic standard regions prompt, and you may have seen this in E1 or E2 when doing an argument essay. Basically, it gives you directions. It gives you the topic question. It gives you the task, what you have to do. And again, it says closely read each of the 4 texts provided. We did that, hopefully, or you are doing that. You've got the 4 articles from the last assignments, and those give you information that you can use to write your argument topic. You can use the, we've created notes. We gave you boxes to answer questions. So you kind of should be prepped. And if you may have handed these in, so I don't know if you'll have direct access to that, but I will be putting up a channel in maybe even as soon as this is over. I'll try and get it done by this afternoon, certainly. With all the essay articles, I'll have that for you, so you have easy access. You don't have to kind of go back and forth between assignments to dig them out. It'll be all there for you in one spot, and that way, you can always have that as a resource. You can download it to your hard drives or flash drive if you want, and it'll be there for you. So basically, our topic question, again, are peaceful protests necessary to affect change. And we use 3 of those 4 texts to write a well-developed argument regarding whether peaceful protests are necessary. You want to establish your claim. You want to distinguish your claim from alternate or opposing claims. And you want to use that to summarize as evidence for your arguments. You don't want to simply summarize the text. You want to use it to explain your argument, is what I'm trying to say. Right. Again, these are guidelines you would find for any essay that's an argument essay. It's just repeating the information in a more bullet point format. And again, just the biggest thing that we ask when you write your essays, and I think you do this in social studies classes too, is identify the document, identify the text. So, either you do it by title or text number. Whether if it's the Trevor Noah article, that's text 3, for example. If it's the politics of protest, that's text 4. And then again, standards, you're typing things up. So you want to have a standard typed format, which is, your paragraphs are clear. You're doing you're tabbing for indents. You're spell checking and grammar checking. All right, and again, these are the 4 texts that we went through. Are peaceful protests more effective than violent ones? The pros and cons of riots. Trevor Noah defends response to George Floyd's death, and how violent protests change politics. On this page, and you'll see it when you open up your assignment, you'll have the links. Although 2 of these 4 links, they don't have the hyperlink set up. That in the actual document, all the hyperlinks are set up. So if you can access the articles through the channel all set up, or you can click directly on these links and it will get you to those articles too. But those are the web pages that they were from. So just be aware there may be advertisements or pop-ups because you're going directly to those sources. And some of those pages, they do have pop-ups and stuff when you open them. Okay, so right now, for everybody who's here, think about what position you will take for this essay. I think most of us are going to have at this point an understanding of what they want to write about or how they want to write this. And think about the form that that's going to take. Peaceful protests are necessary to affect change. Peaceful protests are not necessary to affect change because, but, or so. Right? You don't have to add all three of the because, but, or so. You use one of those to extend the sentence, give yourself a more developed claim or precise claim. So I'm gonna pause here for a minute. You guys on your side, you can take a minute to write that down if you want. If you want to write your answer in the chat, and I can take a look and see what you're thinking are your claims that you'd like to write about. For example, I might write peaceful protests are necessary to affect change because they are a way to make people aware of the issues that need changing. Not the best one I've ever come up with, but you notice that I've created a chain with the because there. Peaceful protests are not necessary to affect change, but they can be used to make people more aware. That's one way to do it. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Bring back up here. Okay. I'm just going to pause for you guys to think about that. Does anybody have any questions about the claim sentence here, about what to do? Because it all kind of, I know maybe it seems basic, and it is. And at the same time, I want to make sure we have it nailed 100% because I want you guys to know that, it all follows from that. Okay. Great. And I just saw a couple people join as well, so I just want to welcome them in. Again, Jailin and so Shazadabanu, welcome in. I am recording this, so just be aware when you're on, if you turn your camera on, you probably will be recorded. So you can leave your camera off. I don't have a problem with that at all. Okay. All right. So organization is important because it guides an audience through your reasoning process. It offers clear explanations of each argued point. It demonstrates the credibility of the writer. So again, there's this workflow, there's this progress that every essay takes, and you've learned it in other English writing classes. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just kind of shaping it and evolving it and trying to get you guys more precise and more thoughtful in your insights of what you're trying to say here. So again, you have your introduction, you have your body paragraphs, you have your conclusion, and it all kind of flows from one to the next. This is something that we use here at Lincoln, and especially in the TGA, the 10th grade. This is what's called a meal chart, and basically it's just a map of what you'll be, what's a way to use the articles that you have been reading. And MEAL stands for main idea, evidence, analysis, and link. All right, when your so on the top you'll notice it says introduction, claim, argument position. What we just did in the other slide where I asked you to think about the claim, that goes up there, and you'll always remind you of what you're writing about. And then for each of the body paragraphs that happen, and you're using articles to help prove, you're thinking about one reason why you can prove your claim. So if I said that peaceful protests are necessary to affect change because it helps people get their point, it makes people more aware about the things that need changing and the things that must be improved in our society. One reason why that is because people need to understand what changes we're working towards. Evidence. I might quote an evidence, a piece of evidence from the article, a quote from or a statistic, a quote from an expert, something that will help me to prove that point. And then analysis. This shows that. What I just said proves what I'm trying to prove, what I'm trying to say, because, and here's why. So if you look at those first three, the M, E, and A, we've already actually been doing that at the end of each of our articles. We ask you for the claim, we ask you for the evidence, and we ask you for the explanation. That's something you've been practicing already, and you should be comfortable with that. And then every paragraph should end with a link or conclusion sentence. Therefore, this is true, or we should, it should be concluded that. You can just really follow through what you already wrote and link everything up together. There, that's why the L is for link, by the way. Duh, Mr. Berenstein. Duh. So when you have that, you have basically you're forming a pretty full paragraph. Remember that for paragraph 4 is usually the opposing claim, alternate claim, also sometimes known as the counterclaim. It has many different names, but really what you're just doing is introducing another point of view, another opinion, or another claim, not opinion, a claim from the other side, or not even from the opposite side, from just another way of thinking about things. And then you're rebutting it. You're trying to show that it's maybe valid, it may be important, it may have a point, but at the same time, your point is still more valid or still important to consider because of these sort of reasons. And you're doing that with the last part of that paragraph, the link to that whole paragraph. So it says, well, this is certainly a valid point. It is not as strong as the argument that, and that's your argument. So really important for that opposing claim paragraph is your rebuttal. You should always make sure that you put that in, because if you don't, then you're just showing the other side of the story without necessarily showing your work, why your point might be more important or the one that somebody should agree with. This is an argument essay, so there are definitely multiple sides to arguments, but if I'm arguing who's better, who could beat who, Superman or Batman or Superman or Goku, which are now these are all memes at this point, it's cliche. But if I'm doing that, and I'm arguing for Superman, you want to say that, well, there are certain points where, Batman could definitely beat Superman, and he has. But Superman would still beat Batman most of the time because of this reason and this reason and this reason. This is more why that happens. And then again, conclusion, explain why the counterclaim is wrong. I already just said that. So there you go. So this resource is available to you guys as you plan your essay. You may find that you can just do this in your head automatically, but if you're confused or if you want to plot and plan, then this is available to you in the assignment for you to use, and you'll be able to hopefully text in or write your text in those boxes. All right, another resource that we've given you is a T-chart, pros and cons, as you're deciding or if you're thinking about what are the two sides of any story. So this is you can use this for any argument. If we took out the peaceful protest topic, this T-chart can be used as any argument essay we come up with. But in this case, on one side, the pros of peaceful protest, on the other side, the cons of peaceful protests. You want to select 2 things to compare, whether it's ideas, characters, events, and then just list the reasons why you would be in support of it and list the reasons why you would be against it. Sometimes just doing the basic T-chart will give you things that you can then include in your essay and follow up on in your body paragraphs. So again, that resource is available to you. And again, organizing your argument, we have our introduction, our body paragraphs, and our conclusion. So these slides, I don't feel like we'll go through them in super detail. You can do this on your own unless you guys want me to. But again, just the basics of an essay. What does an introduction do? What we're looking for? How do you construct an introduction? I guess I'll talk about this, for example. When you begin your essay, you want to start with your claim, but you can also change how you start with the background information, a personal anecdote, like a story related to the topic. It could be a real or hypothetical example. With protests, obviously, there's so much that's happening in real life in society that you can provide some real examples right now. I mean, there were protests all throughout the summer. People were going through a lot of anger and emotion because of that, or different emotions as a result of that. So you could definitely bring that in to start your essay if you wanted to. You can ask a question. You can use a quotation from somebody. We've had different quotations from people. Shocking statistics or striking image or picture. I mean, obviously something I'll never forget from the summer are just the thousands or hundreds of people marching in the streets in like so many different cities in America and the world. So if you write about that and then you go into your claim, that is a powerful way of starting your essay. So these are all different ways that you can start your essay, get that going. But again, everything should have a claim, or sometimes it's called a thesis statement, the most important sentence of your paper. If you don't have a claim statement, then it's not going to work. It lets the reader know the main idea of the paper. It answers the question, what am I trying to prove? It's not a factual statement, but a claim that has to be proven throughout the paper. Should guide through your argument. So it's kind of like, again, if you're saying Superman can beat Batman, that's just guiding you all the way through your entire speech or writing on that. You're always going to go back to that. All right. Body paragraphs. You want to build upon the claims made in the introductory paragraph, and they're organized with the use of topic sentences. Those will illustrate the main idea of each paragraph. Every time you start a new paragraph, you want to tell people what you're writing about in that paragraph. That's a topic sentence. And again, this probably isn't new to you, but one way of doing a precise claim statement or subclaim reasons is really identifying what are the two things you want to bring up, the two most important points, and hammer that home right away and follow through with evidence and explanations. So offering a brief explanation of history or recent development of the topic within the early body paragraphs can help the audience become familiarized with your topic and the complexity of the issue. When you think about the 4 articles that we had, there's so much background information. There's so much on the history of protests, whether it's what was going on during the 60s with MLK or in other countries. Whether it's Trevor Noah providing sort of the emotional background of why people are doing what they're doing. There's so much information that you can use to help build that. So think about that. Think about what you can use. You don't have to use everything, right? You just use what you can have to help prove your essay. And I like this slide because, again, it kind of gives you the sense of the ordering, how to create strong body paragraphs. Paragraphs can be ordered in several ways, depending on the topic and purpose of your argument. You can go general to specific. You can go most important to least important information. You can go weakest claim to strongest claim. You're basically, you're choosing how to present your evidence. You want to either, you can sort of like think about it like a concert when bands or musicians, they go out. One of the most important things is the first song. It sets the stage. It gets the blood pumping. It gets people rocking out, or whatever. That first song really sets the tone. And then the last song is the song that people will remember it when they're going home from a concert. But obviously the rest of the set, you want a strong set. You want good songs. You want the songs that are both, popular but also meaningful to people, and that's how people remember a good concert. I think basically this is to say that I miss going to concerts, but I think it's a good comparison, right? You start it out hot, you bring the information, and then you bring it home strong as well. All right, I'm going to stop here for a second and bring back to the screen with everybody here. And any questions or comments that you guys have. And I just want to recognize Nathan coming in. So welcome, Nathan. And again, this is being recorded, so just make sure that your video cameras are off if you don't want to show up on the recording. I'm just going to say that I know that I've said that a couple times before. I just want to keep repeating that because people are joining in as we go. And I'm not seeing necessarily who's joining in. Just want to make that announcement for everybody. Right. Evidence and body paragraphs. Evidence will aid you in proving the claims of your argument and disproving opposing claims. Be sure to use your evidence to support the claims made in your topic sentences. Make your research work to prove your argument. Alternate and opposing claim, we know, are the opposite of what you're saying. You do want to recognize that there's other valid point of views on the topic. You do want to make sure that people understand what they're about. And then you offer your counter argument. You offer the rebuttal. You say, okay, yes, this is true, but this is also true. All right. And doing so addresses your credibility as a writer. You've researched multiple sides of the argument. You've come to an informed decision. It shows that you've considered other points of view. Okay, so effective rebuttals to the alternate and opposing claim. Again, this is, I think a lot of times people will forget this, but this is, I think, the most important part of the paragraph, even though it comes towards the end. Although you could also, if you choose to, hook it up at the beginning and then just kind of follow through on that. You want to concede that you can concede to some of your opposition's concerns to demonstrate respect for their opinions, but you want to either counter or offer another argument. So you can say, yes, Batman can beat Superman if he uses kryptonite, but when you're using kryptonite, that's such a crutch. That's such almost like a cheat, right? In a straight one-on-one fight without using Superman's weakness, Batman could never beat Superman, right? And I'm not saying I believe that to be true. I'm just saying if I wanted to rebut that point of view, that's what I would do. And then finally, you want to conclude your essay and re-emphasize the main points made in your paper, your top 2 claims and reasons, the strongest things that you've written about. Bring them up again, re-emphasize them. And you may choose to reiterate a call to action or speculate on the future of your topic. So you can say, for example, protests. If you're saying, yes, peaceful protests are necessary for change, you might end your essay by saying, it is important that people continue to protest peacefully in America, because the more people protest, the more people will get things done, will make change in the world, right? You don't want to write anything new in terms of your claims. You just want to summarize, re-emphasize, bring it home strong. And that's the essay. Where to go for more help? You can message your teacher, that's me, or Ms. Bosmond. My L students, that's me and Mr. Weiss. I've given you a link to this website for the Purdue University Online Writing Lab. You can actually information there. I think you could even submit work there. I'm not 100%, but if you click that link, you get more information. And then there's a video you can also check out for more resources. And I just want to repeat the pacing for people who came in late. Again, the argument essay is due Monday, October 19th, but we'll take late submissions through the end of the first marking period, which is October 23rd. Today, we've gone through the PowerPoint, or if you haven't yet, if you're watching this on the video, well, then you probably already have if you're watching it on the video. We've looked at the way to construct an essay. We'll have the Read 20 articles. They're not Read 20 articles. They're just articles from the topic. We'll have that posted to an argument essay channel in a little bit. Decide which position you will argue for, what you're going to answer, and then using those charts that we did. The meal chart, slide 13. And then the rest of the week, you're beginning to write your argument essay. You want to spell check and grammar check your work, and you're clicking it in when you're done. So again, keep that in mind. This is our rubric. This looks very intimidating, but really it just kind of breaks it down to the parts of the essay. And again, we're grading on a 1 to 4 scale. For all assignments, really, you do want to get at least a 3. 3 demonstrates proficiency or mastery of a skill that we're looking for. So for example, for claim, introducing a precise claim supported by a range of sources. How do I get a 3? My precise claim is a claim that answers the question, yes, peaceful protests are necessary for social change because, and then whatever the reason I give for the because, that's at least the 3, because people need to protest in order to change the world to make it a better place. It's that's more of a 2.75. Let's work on that. But again, you want to be precise. For a 4, you want to be thoughtful. You want to say peaceful protest is not just a way of giving people information. It also helps people sympathize or side with your point. That's a 4 out of 4, right? And we just kind of go through the categories of claim, evidence, posing claim, the language you're using, making sure it's more of an essay style, right? We're not using text language like the letter U. We're not using emojis. We're not using shorthands or abbreviations, right? You want to write it fully out as if you're writing a formal professional essay. Again, not that I have anything against emojis or text language, because obviously I use that myself when I'm conversing with my friends, but if I'm writing an essay that I'm seeing other, professors and other teachers are going to see, I don't write that way. I write in a more formal way. So should you. Okay. So I'm going to stop the share here. I'm going to take questions. I do want to show you guys, I want to share one more time. I want to show you guys the assignment page, specifically where I want you to write your essay, and then we'll probably break from there. So any questions at this point? Remember, you can ask questions in the chat at any point. All right, so what I'm going to do, hopefully, is I'm going to share the page. You can see that argument unit protest lesson 7, writing the essay, has shown up on the main page for each of our team's pages, and that's where you can go to view the assignment. When I click on view the assignment, I'm going to see the teacher side here. You'll see your side. So this is what it looks like on my side. I see everybody's status and if you've turned it in or not. Obviously, it just went live, so I don't think anybody's really seeing it because you're here with me or you're watching the video. I'm going to go to student view, and you can see the instructions here. Basically, it's everything I've put down here and I've mentioned before in this video that's there for you, okay? And you'll see down here, this is the important part, right? The reference materials, you can click on here. This is the PowerPoint we just went through. This is the pros and cons T-chart. This is an essay outline with sentence starters. I'm going to click on that and show you. Hopefully it'll come up. This is kind of a sentence by sentence breakdown if you need to use this. Some people don't need to use this, and you're more than confident in your writing abilities. You know how to write an essay. You can do this. You can even do this with your eyes closed if you wanted to. Then you may not need this. But if you have any questions or if you're unsure, well, what should I do now? Or what goes in this paragraph? This will take you sentence by sentence, how to structure it. If you need it, it's there for you. You can use that as a resource. Okay. Argument essay graphic organizer. That is the meal chart, I believe. Yep. So you can use that to help plan out your paragraphs. But the most important thing, where are you going to write your essay? There you're going to write your essay. Write your essay here. I'm going to click that. Okay, we're going to use this Word document to write your argument essay. All your essays should go in this document, and when you submit this, I'm looking at this. So, as your final turn-in version, you're saying, Mr. Berenstein, this is where I want you to look because this is my final version. This is where what I want you to grade. All right, so this basically just repeats the instructions. Again, it gives you the links that you can, if you press and hold Control and click on the link, it'll come on up. And then it says, there's a box here. It says begin your essay here. remember to spell and grammar check before turning in. And you would just write your essay in the box. And then on the bottom, it continues. You use as much space as you need. And then on the bottom is the rubric again for you. Again, remember when you're writing in the assignment, you want to edit the document and open it in a browser. So again, when you're done, if you're not done, if you want to go back to it, you just close it, it auto saves. And then when you're ready, you press the purple turn in button and then you're done. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. There was, I think Michelle maybe said something in the chat. Let's see. Michelle, I don't know if you are, yeah, you have another class right now. Yes, okay, hold on. Before you go, I did want to make this announcement. I should have made it earlier, so I apologize for that. But since everybody's still here, so you may be told, you may not have been told, but I'm telling you now, apparently there's been a bit of a change in terms of scheduling. Basically what's happening is the Wednesday and Thursday times are scheduled or flipped, right? Usually in the past couple of weeks, I've done live sessions Tuesday and Wednesday from 8:30 to 9:45. Now, while we're here, at least during the remote learning period, nobody's in school, they're flipping it so that instead of Wednesdays, I'm going to be on Thursdays. So instead of Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 8:30 to 9:45, I'm here Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 to 9:45. And so basically for your schedules, the classes are flipped or reversed. Everything that's on the Wednesday schedule, the teachers, the times, they stay the same. So again, I have the same block of 8:30 to 9:45, but I'm on Thursday instead of Wednesday. Whoever was teaching or whatever classes were teaching on Thursday, I don't remember which ones it is, but then they're on Wednesday now. Why they did this, I don't know. I just know that that's what's happening for right now, and I wanted to make sure you guys are aware of that. And I'll make announcements on that as well. I'll post them up on the board. So Michelle, just wanted to let you and everybody else know about that. Michelle, you can go because I'm going to wrap up here if you have another class to get to. Ernsley, thanks for making it in. And again, if anybody jumped in late, I'm recording this, and so hopefully I'll be able to post it to the board, the Teams page, sometime this afternoon. Let's just pause here for any final questions or comments. What questions do you guys have? What things are you confused about? I know I said a lot, I presented a lot. You have the ability to do this, to look at it all on your own time as well. Okay, guys, there are no questions, it looks like. But again, remember, you can always text me or chat from 8:30 to 2:20. Please don't text me at like 11 o'clock at night, though, or 12 or 1. Most people have it. Everybody's been really good about that, actually. So I appreciate that very much. Obviously, if you do have a technical issue, if there's something that's a pressing emergency, I don't mind you texting me in the evening after work hours to let me know and see what's going on. Obviously, it's important. You got to let me know. You got to let your teachers know. That's cool. But obviously, most importantly, help is available during the school day, 2:20. All right, guys, so with that being said, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you very much for joining me here for reviewing the argument essay. Remember, we're working on this throughout the week. You're also making up any other lessons, assignments that you haven't gotten to yet. They're all open. They're all available until October 23rd. So make sure you're doing that. Okay? Very important for the first marking period grade. All right, guys, thank you very much. Have a good one. All the best.